Welcome, and welcome, and welcome, and welcome to another episode of the Miles Offside podcast, where we talk a little bit of football and a whole lot of nonsense.
One for the best of.
Yeah, you'd think after 70 I'd be good at this.
Welcome to episode 70, the worst of.
My name is Oscar Puente, also known as Footy from Afar, and with me, as always, are my co-hosts Chuck Bailey and super producer Ian Stimson. How's it going?
It's been a quiet week in the world of football, isn't it? Not a lot going on.
Very quiet.
I think the soccer gods heard us last week. We were like, not much news. We can probably skip over that. Nothing to talk about.
Yeah, don't need to put anything in. Like, Miles Offside boys are doing a best of show, so we'll just keep it quiet on our end.
Yeah, they're like, oh, you want some news? We'll fucking give you some news.
It is no going to be rapid.
Yeah.
Certain news stories breaking, obviously, a day after we fucking recorded. No, the day of, wasn't it? I can't remember.
Nah, I think it was, I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't matter. But I guess that is a good transition then, as we shall go straight into our rapid fire news. Top story this week, obviously, everybody's talking about it. It's the big one. Crystal Palace are weeks away from a $215 million takeover by a mystery consortium. The deal could be done before Christmas, although usual last-minute snags and negotiation delays may see the process drift into the new year. The source of the money behind the takeover bid remains a mystery, but it is believed to be a diverse consortium of wealthy individuals and companies from different parts of the world.
Where was this reported from, sorry?
I believe you were the one that sent the link over, and it is from a very reputable...
He didn't click on it himself.
Yeah. Called The Sun, a publication called The Sun. That's one of the good ones, right?
Yeah. Don't click on the link. Yeah.
No, deliberately don't. Never do. Only screenshot, fill it with hate, and specifically use that newspaper to start fires.
Am I going to be getting some weird ads now on all the websites I visit?
Oh, you didn't click on it, did you?
I did. I just read straight from the text of it.
Oh, you bloody fool. They've got you now. That's it.
I'm in their database.
Yeah, they'll be tapping your phones and everything. Football clubs and people potentially buying and people from all around the world and an unknown amount of money and bollocks.
What I'm worried about, diverse consortium. If my pension pot's going into you fucking buying Crystal Palace.
It's the Brexit fund, mate. It's the Brexit fund.
I'm going to be absolutely furious.
Take 200 million out the NHS and use it to buy Crystal Palace.
I want no part of it.
Oh, gee, so there's no smoke to this fire started by the Sun newspaper?
Who fucking knows? Who cares? Next.
All right, let's move on then. Let's get to the actually big stuff, of course.
Big stuff.
After several wonderful years, gentlemen, I am sorry to report that a big manager has been sacked. I am, of course, talking about Cardiff City having parted company with manager Neil Warnock.
Fucking point in carrying on this fucking podcast now.
Yeah, specifically this podcast. What is the point?
What's the point?
Chuck, I have a quote here from him, and I will do my best to do his voice, although I'm not nearly as good as you. No, I don't even know. I can't do it.
Oh, God. Oh, you even took a breath in.
I know.
You've thrown your hat in, mate.
I don't actually know what he sounds like other than that one sentence of, we had a lovely time. Okay, all right. Let's see. I don't know if this is what he sounds like at all, but I'm just going to go off of your impression of him. So I'm doing an impression of your impression. Let's see.
Oh, sure.
I'm leaving my
Brilliant. I didn't realise Neil Warnock was like a boss in Elder Scrolls.
Yeah, I don't know. I genuinely have no idea what he sounds like other than
Lost
lovely
confidence,
time.
like halfway through the first word.
I know.
That's brilliant.
I couldn't get it out. Okay, I'm leaving my beloved Bluebirds after over 3 years of which have been some of the best days in my long football career. It is a shared belief that this is the right time for a new voice, as we believe this squad of players is more than capable of getting success. Shared belief. Do we believe the sharedness of that belief, or
Do we share in that belief? I don't think so. No, not really.
I don't know. I think it's it's been a rough old time there. Like, obviously, we forget about the Emiliano Sala stuff, which is still ongoing, and you could tell, like, Warnock took that hugely personally. And, the emotions that they went through in that Cardiff season, like, and the good value he was just in every interview and every week, and standing in the centre circle, staring out referees with his hands on his head, and saying his wife will punch referees or something like that.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So it is a shame, but he'll get another job. He'll go somewhere.
Yeah, Peterborough will get promoted. Then we'll be in the relegation zone of the Championship, and we'll fucking hire him.
Oh, don't swear at that, because he'll get you in the Prem.
Yeah, you could do worse than him.
That's what you want, mate. That's the dream.
Then we'd be talking about the Poch every single week. Are you kidding?
Yeah, that's true.
We do miss his content. My God.
Yeah, we'd double down, I suppose, if he was Poch manager.
The lovely times could just start over in Peterborough instead.
Up in the north in Peterborough.
All right, let's move on then to the actual big manager story this week, of course. There's only so many times we can kind of push this back. We have, straight from the BBC, gentlemen, Argentina legend Diego Maradona has quit as manager of Gimnasia and Esgrima La Plata less than 3 months after taking charge of the club.
When an Argentinian manager like that just leaves a club, it's just so gutting, isn't it? It's
yeah,
so gutting.
they really, the Argentinians really make a stamp on things, and
Yeah.
he had such an impact in the cushion on that throne. You can still see the impressions of his arse cheeks. Yeah.
It was weird how the arms of that throne were like mirrored. Really, really weird.
Yeah, it was weird.
Some sort of residue on it. Can someone give that a dust? That's just, yeah, okay, really weird.
Yeah, notable Argentinian manager to sort of leave his post this week. Really nothing else to say. No. All right, let's move on then to the actual one this time. And I'm not kidding. Tottenham have sacked manager Mauricio Pochettino after 5 years in charge of the Premier League club. A legend, 5.5 years, 0 trophies domestically, 0 trophies international. Clearly their greatest ever manager, right?
You love fucking winding them up, don't you? Jesus Christ. And I can't wait for when Tottenham play Chelsea next. It'll be hilarious. I think, firstly, Tottenham sack him. He's had one bad run of fixtures. This one. And I think people forget, how bad Tottenham were before.
Yeah, how quickly they've forgotten.
They won no trophies before him. They won no trophies with him. But
he hasn't won negative trophies.
Yeah, he hasn't lost any trophies. Audi Cup, that pre-season tournament, he won that, I think.
Was that one of the ones they award themselves, like the Emirates Cup that Arsenal won?
Yeah, sort of like ones that you've got arm patches for in your Chelsea shirts. And yeah, it's just mad. But, I mean, we spoke about it for long enough that there seems to have been something wrong in the dressing room and all manner of other things. But, I don't know, I just can't wait for this Amazon Prime documentary, man.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing. So, to get serious for a moment, do we think that it's the right decision for them to sort of leave him behind? Yes, he was genuinely, I joked, but he was genuinely a really good manager. And I think somebody's going to be better off for getting him.
Hugely. And he could go to anyone.
He can go anywhere he wants. Yeah, I mean, the rumors are Bayern Munich right now.
Bayern, PSG, Real Madrid, Man United. So
I think Arsenal should go in for him just as the ultimate troll move, but also he'd be a massive upgrade for them. And
huge.
He'd want to get one in back on Tottenham. He would love that.
I think Neil Warnock would be an upgrade for Arsenal right now. And he's looking. He's looking.
I mean, you can't sack all the players. And that relationship was well beyond repair, right? So, what do you do?
I think it probably is the right decision. However, the circumstances that have led to this situation developing are kind of out of his control. And I think he's the new stadium and not, Daniel Levy not really opening his checkbook much apart from this year has kind of led him down this path that this end was kind of inevitable. It was very hard. We said about it before that when you don't bring in new people and get fresh perspective and, get rid of some of the people, you look at Christian Eriksen, he doesn't give a fuck anymore. And he's been there since he was one of the ones that they bought with the Gareth Bale money. So what's that, 6 years now, I think? 6-7 years? And you just need to refresh some of those positions. And he didn't get to do that. And so, it was kind of stuck in a situation that at some point something was going to give, and it's just mad because he will go. His stock is so high, and he'll be able to go anywhere, and see what happens with.
Regarding like his future, I read something. I can't remember where I read it, so I'm really sorry to just sort of steal it. But he operates, and this is what I read, like fit in or fuck off mentality. And if he moves to, because he should be able to move to a massive club, like you're saying, how is that going to work with like a club that has already established huge egos? Like he's been able to take Tottenham from a club that weren't doing particularly well to Champions League finals and stuff. Is he going to be able to go to a PSG or a Bayern Munich?
Yes, I think so, because if you look at, I mean, Bayern have obviously just cleared out a few players and some of like the older generation, and I think that kind of, exactly like you said, the fit in or go somewhere else mentality is what he did the first time at Spurs and got them all on side and they all bought into it. But then as they get older and like you said, the egos take over, he needs to ship people out to bring in more so that they are then hungry and not complacent, which is what that team got. When you don't have competition for places, when you don't have new transfers coming in, what the fuck? Well, it doesn't matter. I'm just going to get picked every week. That's it. And so I think if he goes to one of those clubs, it has to be backed and to be allowed to just say, right, these players, we'll get rid of them. This is who we're bringing in. This is what we're doing. And kind of be given that free rein to build a club as he sees fit and be able to operate that further. Because otherwise the same thing will happen, that he'll get the results at the start and then gradually peter off if he's not back.
Yeah, and I think just to build off of that, Ian, I think you're exactly right. Like 99% of years, I think there would be a lot of concern for him going to a big club because of the egos thing, because I think part of what allowed him to be so successful at Tottenham is that all those kids were so young and they didn't know any other way, right? Like Ali, Kane, Dyer, even Eriksen had never been at like a truly big club. He was coming from the Dutch league. Like, so that allowed him to sort of grow up in his system. And so he was able to sort of shape them in a certain way. And that's why he was able to last for a while. But I think he happens just by pure circumstance to be entering a job market where a lot of very big name clubs are in transition, are phasing out old players. You look at Bayern Munich, obviously, as one of them. They just lost Robin and Ribery, and there's a lot of sort of turmoil. That's part of why they've been shaky for the last 2 years. But you also look at Barcelona, and they are, I think, the 5th oldest average age club in all of the 5 big leagues in Europe. Like, they're massively old. And they're still building everything around, wow, I just called him Rooney almost. Messi.
Wow.
My brain's a bit off. They're still building around Messi, but he's 32. Like, they need to start looking to the future. And so they could be bringing him in. Likewise at United, like, they're running out kids, you know. If I'm madly in love with Frank Lampard as a manager and just as a human being. Will you marry me, please? But, like, I think if it wasn't for that, like, Chelsea would be a perfect place for him to come because we have so many youth coming through. Like, there's a lot of big clubs with very young squads or very old squads who need to transition to young squads. And so I think he is in the exact right climate to get hired somewhere and do a good job. But the concern, the flip side of that being that, like, you've heard 3 or 4 anonymous players named, you know, Gary Kane coming out and being like, look, he's a fucking asshole. He never cared about us as people. Okay. And he made us run double sessions all the time. And that's fine at first because you got to build your system and you got to build the mentality and you have to get the energy levels for us to do all the running and the pressing that we've done.
Yeah.
But in our 5th year, like, bro, give us a fucking day off is basically what all the quotes coming out have been. And, like, it seems like the players just got tired of, because he is like a shut up and go do more sprints.
And that's exactly it. And that's why if you don't get the refreshment in that kind of level, it's naturally going to happen.
I really dislike that, though. If you're a top level athlete, you should be doing whatever you need to do to win, and they were doing better under him. I mean, I get what you're saying, a malaise kicks in after a few years.
Well, not even that. I just think it's like at a certain point, they do know the system and they're in shape. Like, it's okay to give your guys a day off once in a while. I do think that there's a certain level of, like, chill out a bit, you know? I mean, that's probably part of the reason. Like, you look at Harry Kane and he has no ankles, and, like, all these guys are, like, seem way older than they actually are. And that might be from running double sessions and never having a day off for 5 years. Like, I kind of get what they're saying from that perspective. Yeah. And I think that also speaks to, like, the magic of Klopp, because Klopp does the same thing. But those players, you know, at Liverpool now and also at Dortmund before he left, like, have not tired of it and are not looking to revolt. They still really buy into it. And there's, like, a real cult of personality around him that I think was the missing sort of element from Pochettino, is that he didn't take the old, like, arm around the shoulder, I care about you, so that's why you want to run 10,000 miles for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's also the volume of players that Klopp has bought and the amount of money spent as well.
Like, yeah. You can't ignore that either.
That's been built on year, whereas Pochettino had 2 whole years of not a single new face in. Yeah. And then a few here, like this season, 2 of which haven't played, basically, because they've been injured.
All right, let's move on then to, instead of sacking, obviously, the other big story this week is all about hiring. Neil Harris, ex-Millwall boss, has been appointed new Cardiff City manager.
Yes.
The ex-Millwall boss, 42, has signed until the summer of 2022 and replaces Neil Warnock, obviously, as we mentioned.
Obviously. Well, Millwall doing quite well, though, Ian. You're like lower league man.
Yeah, I don't know. Actually, where are Millwall? They're no Preston, are they?
No Preston. Preston is second, right?
Definitely no Preston. I also have that opinion. Does that mean that Preston are good or Preston are bad?
Preston are in third. They're doing
Preston
well.
Are good. Okay. Yeah. Cool.
Oh, I think Neil Harris stepped down. Okay, so it was Neil's decision. Good old Neil.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on to the actual big hiring. After a long time away from the manager's role, finally he's back, baby, and I could not be any more excited. Argentina legend Diego Maradona said he is to return as manager of Gimnasia 2 days after quitting.
Because you can't keep a good man down.
When was the last time you quit a job and came back 2 days later? And are they fucking insane for taking him back?
When I left a big bag of Coke under the throne that I'd left.
Forgot me bag. Oh, actually, Diego, while you're here, we were talking, like, are you sure you want to... Oh, God. Yeah, I'll stay, alright, fuck it.
Fuck yeah, I'll stay.
Let's have a fucking party. Show me the fucking dignitaries. Fuck off.
Diego's back.
Yay.
He never left.
Diego. Yeah, okay, let's... jokes are done. Genuinely, actually, this time jokes are done. The big story, and this will be a perfect transition to the first match of the week. Jose Mourinho, motherfucker, is back. He has been appointed Tottenham manager about 12 hours after Pochettino's firing. Apparently, this had been in the works for a while, and they just didn't tell anybody. Is this a good move for Spurs? And I will throw to Ian first, because he probably isn't expecting it. So.
Well, I mean, the problem is that we've since seen West Ham Tottenham, isn't it? That's the problem.
Yeah, one match doesn't make this a good or bad decision necessarily.
Match doesn't. But
and it's West Ham.
I know, they were terrible, but I think
bad.
they were really bad. But I think ultimately Jose is not an upgrade. The problem is, of course, you've sort of convinced me with all the stuff you've been saying there, that if the players aren't behind Poch, although Dele Alli sort of in his post-match was quite nice about Poch, saying, you know, it's been tough, you know, sort of this week and that, and he didn't have to say anything like that. He could have said, oh, we're just moving on, you know, we're just happy to sort of be in a new system, blah, blah, blah. But he didn't, and I don't know, I'm just not sure Jose can be considered an upgrade these days. I'm surprised that Tottenham acted when they did. I know that they're 14th and it's hilarious, or they're not 14th now, probably, I don't know. But
10th, I think.
Yeah, so fair enough. One win's put them up to 10th or whatever, but then that's all Poch needed as well. I'm not convinced it's an upgrade. I wonder if is Levy gonna suddenly spend some money, because Jose usually needs that.
I don't know. They're spending enough on him.
Yeah. Jesus Christ! Yeah, did you see that? He's making $15 million a year.
He's on 300 grand a week.
It's really crazy.
But you know, they look good against West Ham, so it's hard to say negative things at the minute.
Yeah, and I don't know. It all depends, obviously, on what Jose they get, because when Jose came to United, he was still like at the start was still like the kind of miserable, like not really engaged kind of Jose. But if you saw him on the sideline, like celebrating his goals, that was like vintage Jose Mourinho, like the way he was, and he was happy, and the little sly digs of, oh no, I'm being very humble, and then like 2 minutes later saying, I don't know what it's like to lose a Champions League final.
He just can't help himself.
Can't help it.
Can't help himself.
Saying he was quite open and direct and saying like, I did nothing for this team. And a bit of a dig there at Pochettino, like, I did nothing, like, I didn't change the system, I didn't try and force anything on them. He just...
just my mere presence.
He just literally, he picked the best players and put them in a formation that works for them, and then away you go. Like, I think, attacking-wise, it was mental to see all of a sudden how much hunger Tottenham had going forward and the amount of pace. I mean... the desire, like the Dele Alli before was it Mora's goal? I think when Ali falls on the floor and the ball's rolling out, and he has the just presence of mind to just flick the ball behind him, above him because he was lying down down the wing to Son. That was just amazing. And if that's the way they're going to go, because their defence, I can't see them Jose sorting out their defence anytime soon. Like, there are some ricks in there that is very bad. But if he just goes all out and just let Tottenham attack and play 4-2-3-1, like, it's going to be fun to watch again. In a vein that we could say kind of like Frank Lampard has been at Chelsea, if he stays on this sustained method, because his pragmatic approach of sitting back and park the bus, like, it's not going to work with those players.
No, but I do think the park the bus thing is like more of a myth than a reality in terms of the actual tactics. Having had 6 years experience with Jose over 2 different stints at Chelsea, I think they're going to get 2.5 really good years out of Jose, and then obviously we'll see what happens in the third, because maybe he is the gentle one now, maybe he's not, right? But I'll tell you 2 people who should be very happy, and if they aren't already, they will be madly in love with him within, by Christmas, and that is Dele Alli and Son, because they are exactly the type of players that Jose gets the best out of, that they will 100% buy into the hype, they'll be sipping the Kool-Aid, and they will love playing in his system. And we'll get into the system a little more later, but I think that sometimes it really is just like, pick the best players and let them do the things that they're good at. Like, that's kind of what Lampard is doing too, to a certain extent. And that's the opposite of what Emery is doing. And it's just like, pick your fucking best players and just go. Like, it really is, it sounds so simple, but it is a very, valuable skill to be able to see who the best 11 are and where they should be.
So, just to round this off, because we will obviously cover it later and come back to it, but does this mean that you're going to soften on Tottenham?
No, not at all. No, they're a fucking joke. Actually, so Chelsea Twitter has been a very, very interesting place this week, as you might imagine.
I bet.
If you had told me last week that Jose was going to take a job at Tottenham, I would have told you that he'd be dead to me and I'd feel utterly betrayed and he's a traitor. And that certainly has been the reaction of quite a few people online. And I think that if he had gone to Arsenal, I would feel that way. But I think this actually revealed a truth to me that I didn't realize was a truth about myself. And that is that I just think of Tottenham as a complete fucking joke. So I'm not at all I'm mostly just, and this is we joke a lot about I hate Tottenham, I hate Liverpool, blah, blah, blah. I think genuinely, I feel bad for Jose that this is where his career has gone to, that he has to go work at Tottenham now because he can't get a better job than that.
Oh, woe is me. Oh, I got to go to Tottenham. Oh, £15 million a year. Fuck off.
Yeah, I don't know.
As if he gives a shit. He is loving it.
Oh, of course he is. Yeah. No, and good for him, but this hurts less than it did seeing him on the United sideline. How about
He is the Sam Allardyce of the top 6.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, there's a merry-go-round of elite managers, too, that just kind of move around. Conte, we've had them all. Conte, Carlo Ancelotti, Jose. Yeah, there's just a bunch of managers at that level who just move around country to country and just do their thing. And I think it is weird, and obviously I feel kind of gross about him being at Tottenham, and it sucks. But I was saying to Emily Not to be too melodramatic, but when you break up with someone, they're not yours anymore, and you can't really judge them for like who they date next. And like you kind of do, but you kind of know that you have no right to hold that against them, and it feels that way. It's like we had our time in the sun, but now he's gone, and like I guess I just want the best for him, and it's not Arsenal. If it was Arsenal, fuck you, you're dead to me. But like I don't know. I'm kind of okay with it. I kind of want him to thrive because I don't see Tottenham as an actual threat. I just don't.
And is that the distinction between Tottenham and Arsenal?
Yeah,
Like,
I think Arsenal are genuinely or could be an elite club.
Because they've won trophies, and right, okay.
Well, and also like the players that they have and the money that they have.
Okay.
Like they have Ozil. And yes, he's not the Ozil that he was, but they signed him from Real fucking Madrid, and there were other clubs that wanted him. And they had Alexis Sanchez when he was Alexis Sanchez.
Lost him for free.
And they have two of the best strikers in Europe. Lacazette and Aubameyang could both be playing at pretty much any fucking club and be thriving.
Yeah.
And instead they're stuck at Arsenal, like with Emery, not knowing what to do. So if there was a manager that went into Arsenal, like Jose Mourinho, I think they fucking really missed an opportunity to land him if he's apparently willing to go work for a North London club. Like, they should have been throwing all of the money at him the way Tottenham did. That would terrify me, because I think Arsenal have the talent to be, like, up there.
Yeah, but they don't have the defence, so it's irrelevant, isn't it?
Jose can squeeze every last ounce out of a defence with his tactical setup.
Tottenham's defence is better than Arsenal's defence, and that is a fact.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, exactly. Cold, hard fact.
But yeah, so let's go to the actual match. Our first match of the week. Also, by the way, cue the jingle.
Oh, they're better than they ought to be.
Burnley of the week.
West Ham 2, Tottenham 3. West Ham scoring 2 on only 0.6. They are the Burnley of the week.
Burnley of the week, and you lose.
And they
'cause
lost.
you're shit. And
Yeah,
that's because we decide how the rules work, people.
That is the worst Burnley of the week we've ever had.
I know, but they more than tripled their XG.
Oh, that's one of the best Burnley of the weeks we've ever had.
Yeah, they did 0.6 and scored 2, so that's
Jesus.
like
Okay.
times 3.5, basically. And Tottenham 2.3, scoring 3. So a pretty deserved win for Tottenham. And like a real fascinating watch, because he said after the match, like, oh, I didn't really do anything tactically, blah, blah, blah. But that's a load of shit. He's just doing his like, that's Mourinho back on his bullshit, because like I took notes. I genuinely watched this one and like took a bunch of notes.
Ooh.
And it really, really was like old school Mourinho setup. Kane was playing the old school Drogba role. Kane, here's a stat for you, had been offside 6 times all season coming into this match. Was offsides 3 times in this one.
Well, that's not very good, is it? He's meant to be onside.
Good point.
Well, it's because
Chuck.
he's not very fast, so he's trying to cheat. But
Trying to cheat.
Lucky there isn't some sort of camera system in place.
That's really heavily looking at offsides. Yeah.
Exactly. But I think that's indicative of like his tactical deployment compared to where he had been playing earlier, which was dropping a lot deeper and kind of playing as a midfielder.
I mean,
role,
we've been talking about him being practically defensive midfield, yeah.
Right, and he was playing really high up and looking to get in behind consistently. That tailed off in the second half. I think part of that was him getting tired.
Yeah.
Part of that was like other stuff going on. But certainly in the first like half, he was really looking to get up there and was playing really high up. And that's like very much part of a successful Mourinho team, right? Dele Alli was playing as an 8/10 hybrid, which is also known as the Oscar role, back from the second time at Chelsea.
Oh, I thought you were talking about yourself.
About you, yeah, that's how Oscar used to play back in the day when he was banging in goals in the Premier League.
I was like, you might have to fill us in on how you played, Oscar. I never saw you, sorry.
It doesn't matter. Now he went big money to China and never saw him again.
Okay.
Yeah, so he basically plays as like a defensive 10, people call it, which is to say that he does a lot of pressing, a lot of tackling, but also fulfills a lot of the traditional tactical functions of a 10, which is like creating from the edge of the box or so. The most notable, and the one everybody's talking about, is the back 4/back 3 hybrid, where you have one fullback who's allowed to attack, formerly the Branislav Ivanovic role, now Serge Aurier's role, and the other fullback not allowed anywhere past the halfway line, formerly as Piliqueta, now Ben Davies. And so when they're in attack, like Aurier's bombing way the fuck up.
Yeah, because he can't defend.
Correct. And the other 3 stay way back. Like if you look at the center backs, they do not move up in a Jose system. And that's not the same as parking the bus, but they don't go like They never venture into the attacking half. And that was very much evident there. What else? We had a middle block, so not parking the bus again, not sitting deep with 2 rows, but with keeping certain players back and only pressing with certain triggers, specifically the first or second or third touch when you lose possession or whenever a pass gets played backwards towards the center backs of the other team. Then they hit the gun, what's the thing in a car? The accelerator? They gun it and try to get the ball back. Like, they only press, it's not a constant pressing system. It's pressing for specific things.
No wasted energy, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. And there was a really true double pivot from Dyer and Winks. One of them would go up, one of them would stay back. And then the other one would go up and the other one would stay back. And Aurier was playing like further up than them quite a bit than the pivot.
Again, because he can't defend.
And then the attacking band of 3, which we used to call Mazakar, Mata, Hazard, and Oscar. Back in the day, they had Mora, Sun, and Delhi, and the 3 of them just interchanged freely. Sometimes Sun was on the left, sometimes Sun was on the right. Mora was moving all around. Delhi mostly stayed central because he's playing that 8-10 hybrid, but also had the freedom to roam, which I think people think Mourinho's systems are very rigid, but in fact, they're very, very fluid. It's just fluid in really specific ways. And so there was just so much there, because I used to write like tactical match reports. I would spend like 7 hours doing like diagrams with arrows and like highlighting areas of the pitch and all this shit. Like, and this was at the height of Mourinho's second time around at Chelsea, so I was able to recognize that shit like right away. And it was a like just night and day change from Pochettino's system, which has them pressing all the time and plays a high line and looks to set offside traps and blah, 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 blah. It was like classic Mourinho.
So effectively it's, and so would that play into the fact that I said, you know, they looked a lot more energetic in attack, is because they're not wasting the extra energy in there and they're just using it to be most effective in the system, because Sun and Mora, the way they were playing, they were just comfortable and they were just sprinting through. Again, it's against West Ham.
Yes, huge grain of salt. Yeah, big time grain of salt. But yeah, I think you're right. I think the like hallmark, other than like the tactical hallmarks of like, you know, interchanging 3 and blah, 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 is efficiency and like energy efficiency and sitting back after you hold the lead, but always seeking to get the lead first and doing that as efficiently as possible so that you have the energy in the second half to defend. They were not able to do that, although part of that was also a lot of bad luck because, again, West Ham more than tripled their XG. So like, you know, that was kind of a fluky thing that happens sometimes. But it did not look like Pochettino's Tottenham. It looked like fucking Jose Mourinho. And it worries me slightly. They're far back enough that I don't think that they have a shot at top 4 anymore. But if they had been, you know, in 7th when he came in, I'd be like, oh shit, they might catch us. Because Mourinho knows how to get a fucking results. He knows how to win. And it's, if I'm a Tottenham fan, they feel gross about this, but they also have to be really happy, I think. Because sure, they hate Mourinho, but like, he's gonna do some shit with this team, especially if they back him in the summer. We'll see. Because him and Levy are gonna just hate each other. Like, give it a year. But
yeah, well, there must have been some sort of guarantees in there, but you know, they've got a nice few fixtures now, and obviously it's going to be hilarious because in 2 weeks' time, Jose's going to Old Trafford to sit in the other dugout and play against Solskjaer. So
yeah, and he plays us in the last fixture before Christmas. So Frank versus Jose on like December 22 or something like that.
So plenty of narrative. Mourinho's back. Oh God, it's only going to be a matter of time before he's pissing everyone off, but. If he stays happy, Mourinho, and you know, like clean, like you can tell how he is. He's very much like his physical appearance fully dictates his personality on the day.
Yeah, and he looked nice. He wasn't wearing like the tracksuit, and like had his hair was actually styled as opposed to like the sloppy mess that he was by the end at Chelsea and at United. Like we did say when he got, did he get fired or did he quit? I don't remember from United. He got fired, right?
Fired, yeah.
Yeah, okay. We did say that, like, maybe if he just takes a year off to, like, sort of do an eat, pray, love, I think was the joke we made, and, like, find himself and, like, center himself and do a little yoga, he could come back and still be one of the best fucking managers in the world, and I think that we might see that happening. I really do. I don't buy into the bullshit idea that, like, oh, the game has moved on and Mourinho is a 2006 manager. I think that what did they said on Double Pivot that he plays mid-table football with top-table teams, and that when he can convince players to buy into that, it's terrifying, because the reason mid-table teams do that is so they can punch above their weight. And so if he can convince elite talent to play that way, it's fucking unstoppable. Like, it's really crazy. And if I was Pep for next year, I'd be a little worried, because look at them now. Look at City now, you know? And I think that's actually a really good place to transition. It wasn't the next game on the fixtures list at all, but, you know, a big one for this week. Manchester City 2, Chelsea 1. City 1.3 on XG to Chelsea 0.8. So, you know, a well-deserved win.
Big reason that this isn't the Christian Pulisic podcast this week, is it?
Yeah, in hindsight, it may have been a bad decision to captain Pulisic on my FPL team.
Oh, did you?
Captain America.
Yeah. What'd you guys make of this?
It was fun, man. It was really, really good to see that the Chelsea team just, they don't, the way they play doesn't change at all, which is good that they stay in that confident mindset, especially against, you know, the two-time champions of the league, and a lot of these players are, as we've said, countless times, and it gets repetitive and boring. They're new to the league, they're very young, they're blah, 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 blah. And they're just showing no respect whatsoever to these teams and just trying. And I think they were good value. It was a very entertaining game. But I just think it was just those small little bits that allowed City to show why, you know, they are considered one of the best teams in the world, and to kind of get the result there. But I don't think City were necessarily at their best, but just took their chances, really.
Yeah, I think one sort of stat that I've seen floating around that speaks to that is that this was the lowest ever possession in 381 matches for Pep. Pep.
Yeah, man.
They had 40. Also, that this is his lowest ever possession is insane, but 46% possession.
Yeah, it's not even that low, is it?
But Chelsea went at him. I was gutted. I was absolutely gutted. Not so much from the result, because you go to the Etihad, they're clearly a better team than us, and they win. And that's like, you know, it wasn't like a daylight robbery. Like, they won the XG also, so, you know, what are you going to do kind of thing? But our kids went out there and they left everything on the pitch, man. They played without fear, and they fucking took it to City, and one or two lucky breaks in either direction, and we easily could have won that match. And the match ended, and I wasn't like upset for me. Usually when I'm upset after a football match, it's because like, fuck, I'm a fan and my team lost, and that's sad. I was upset almost in like a paternal way.
Upset for them, yeah.
Yeah, I was upset for those kids, because they must have felt fucking horrible. And I hope that Frank gives them like the day off tomorrow.
No,
just to be
like,
because I think he
what
needs
is this,
to
Tottenham?
Fit in or fuck off.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I think he needs to really like let them know that, like, because they made mistakes. They were giving the ball away sloppily. A lot of people are jumping in on Jorginho this week, which, like, get your fucking head out of your ass. He's been our best player all year. Come on. Like, yeah, he was kind of sloppy in possession, but so was everyone else. But, like, let them know that he appreciates and we appreciate that they tried. And it wasn't perfect, but they're a young team and that shit's going to happen. But that, like, they shouldn't feel down.
Yeah.
They should use this as motivation. Because this could be soul-crushing.
Yeah, but why didn't Reece James play? Was there something up with that? Because obviously he played very well against Palace. And, you know, the battle with Zaha was great. And Mahrez being of a similar kind of mould in that he's quite tricky and direct. Like, why did he switch back to Emerson?
So when Reece James was in, he's a right back, so it would have had Aspi up against Mahrez on the left.
Okay,
and
gotcha.
I think because Mahrez is a left-footed winger, you don't want to have a right-footed defender up against him, because then that sort of gives him the advantage in terms of cutting in and being able to sort of, I don't know, create more space that way and sort of get Aspi off balance. You want a left-footed
and
defender
exactly
up.
do what he did to score the goal.
Right. You know, whichever, Emerson didn't really do a particularly good job of that either, but like tactically that makes sense. You'll like this because Conspiracy Theory Oscar is coming out for a second.
Bum, bum, bum.
So much has been made of Aspi's 60-something, 80-something, I don't even remember how much consecutive games streak. He had never not started. and never not played for Chelsea. Like, he was just absurdly healthy, like not even injuries, nothing. And at some point that streak was going to have to end. And I think Frank, being as intelligent as he is, because like he literally is a genius level IQ, said that a few times, and like that's absolutely true. I think he wanted that story to not be part of the narrative if Aspi loses form and he needs to bring Reece James in to replace him. That would just be an added sort of like, oh, are you going to drop him because he has his streak going? And I think he was like, if I drop him now and just blame it on rotation, yeah, he didn't play against Palace, so just, you know, that's clearly not like Aspi has been particularly bad or anything. It was just like yeah, it's rotation, that happens sometimes kind of thing. That deletes that narrative or takes it off the table for later. And so that's why I think Reece James came in, but I don't think Reece James is like the preferred right back. I just think that was like a one-off thing. And that, again, is like just me completely reading wildly into the situation and putting on my tinfoil hat. But to me, it does make sense that he would want to take that narrative away from later if Aspi, because Aspi's getting old, right? If he needs to drop him for like quality reasons, that doesn't just, it makes it a little bit easier further down the line. That's where I'm at. But yeah, I mean, City were just better. Not by much. We really took it to them, especially in the first half.
You did. Chelsea were doing like, they were perfectly happy in possession in City's half. Like, no nervousness at all. They were doing training ground sort of passing, quick, sharp passing in City's half with no worries whatsoever.
Yeah, and I think people were trying to make something out of like, oh, Mount got dropped. Was that a bad decision? I think he played the exact correct lineup. I think he had the exact correct attitude and tactics. I think he even made the exact perfect substitutions at 60 minutes, bringing on Mount and Mishi for a little added energy and to you know, spur on the attack. I think he, like, we played our best players. We shot our shot, and
only just lost. Yeah,
and that's what happened.
Yeah, I don't think there can be any real grievance there with what happened. Obviously, there's VAR, you know, usual bullshit for City's side.
Yeah. They won anyway, so no one's talking about it.
Gosh darn Raheem Sterling, man. Ugh.
Yeah, did you see his tweet? That was like, I have the like best goal record against VAR or something like that.
Yeah, but yeah, it was very good, and I think City, from a City perspective, they needed that. They needed to show that, you know, even going a goal down against a team like Chelsea that are scoring so many goals, that they can come back and win.
Yeah, and City cannot afford to drop points if they want to be in the title conversation, even against Chelsea. Like, they need to be winning everything to catch up to Liverpool if they want to have any chance.
They need to be winning everything to catch up to Leicester at this rate.
Yeah, exactly. They're going to need to be perfect from here on in, pretty much, yeah.
Their chances, even with that come-from-behind winner, they're still down to 28% to win the title, according to 538.
That's still a lot when you're 9 points off, though.
Sure, but it's also not nearly as much as it should be, considering the fact that they are, like, the best team. They just are the best team. That did hurt our title chances. We're down to 2% now, so the dream might be over, guys.
Did we start dreaming? Were we asleep? I don't...
Yeah, it was up to 3. The dream was fully alive.
Yeah.
Oh, it went up to triple digit.
No. No, triple percentage points. I think we're...
A tripled digit.
A triple digit.
100% with one.
Yeah.
Yep, pretty much. So let's move on then to a team that is a joke, and that is Arsenal 2, Southampton 2. Arsenal very nearly approaching Burnley of the Week territory, scoring 2 on 1.6, but they were outscored 1.0 on the XG because Southampton, mind you, at the fucking Emirates, generated 2.6. That includes a pen, but still.
I mean, Southampton can feel bad. I think in the same way that Palace, for only getting a point against Arsenal, feel bad because they were there for the taking and they had more chances and just so many things that were highlighted. Loved the quick free kick for Southampton and Danny Ings just running through when you have, I think it's 5 Arsenal defenders just turned and facing the referee.
Just shocking. Absolutely
awful.
shocking.
And it was great that the equalising goal at the end, Lacazette, didn't even celebrate it, just stood still, just kind of bent over, just like he knew that this is not a good thing. This is not something to celebrate or to be happy about. Yeah. It doesn't matter that I've just saved us, complete embarrassment and got us a point.
They They dropped to 8th, and they're now behind Burnley in the table after that result.
And for all their laughing, they're only 1 point above Tottenham now.
Yep.
Like,
And their top 4 chances, according to 538. And again, at this point, the sample size is definitely big enough that these are pretty important numbers.
Yeah.
Their top 4 chances are down to 6%.
top 4 chances.
Yeah.
Well, Chelsea is 7 points clear of Wolves, who are in 5th.
Right. And Chelsea are 8 points clear of Arsenal.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're only 11 points ahead of Palace. So
Chuck, you'll love this. Palace are still registering a blip on the qualify for Champions League spots at 1%.
Hey-oh! Maybe one of Oscar's predictions for who's going to be in the top 4 will be right.
Actually, now that I'm looking at this, you know whose chances jumped up a whole fucking lot this week?
Wolves, because now they're 5th.
Tottenham.
No. Now the favorites that are currently outside the top 4 to make the top 4 are Tottenham at 20%.
Oh, yeah, come on. Of course, this new manager bounce, actually winning a game, players having smiles on their faces.
They do have one of the weaker schedules, too, for the rest of the season. They've kind of gotten a lot of their hard matches out of the way.
Do they?
Yeah. So that factors in. But right now, it looks like the top 4 is pretty much decided, according to 538. Obviously, Liverpool and City are in. Chelsea are 82%. And Leicester even Leicester, who have been overperforming, are 73%. So It does look like if it's going to be anyone, it'll be Tottenham. I would throw United out there also, and they're in there with 9%. But yeah, it's not. So I don't know. I don't have much to say about Arsenal. It's just same old shit.
No, it's awful. And it's why. I mean,
that's what they're saying too.
Like, it's just the levels of the clubs. You look at Tottenham. Tottenham never won anything, right? And what makes it so perfect is just the way they laugh at each other. Tottenham never won anything. Didn't win any trophies under their best manager. Hadn't won any trophies before that. Then you've got Arsenal, who are meant to be this amazing club. Blah blah blah. Tottenham go on a small one bad run in what Pochettino's 4 or 5 years, whatever it was. Right, get rid. Unai Emery, just crack on, mate. Just play just dog shit football and not have a clue and rely on 2 elite strikers to somehow claw you through all of it. Like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's really... And, like, I put this out to our Twitter, and I did not mean it as a troll job at all. Like, I wasn't trying to be an asshole. I genuinely wonder, like... Because it's hard to understand the mind of Arsenal fans, right? Like, it's just a weird place to be.
Well, that's just why. Why Arsenal?
Yeah. No, you're right. It's like when I watch serial killer documentaries and I just can't place myself. Yeah, absolutely.
I'll ask you guys, because I asked Twitter and I didn't particularly get a consensus. There was just like straight up disagreement. If you're an Arsenal fan right now and you're looking at Tottenham hiring Mourinho and probably are going to improve, they already got the win and it looks like it's much more competent, and you're still running Emery out after all this fucking time, are you jealous? Like, yes, they hate Mourinho like crazy, but would they not at this point take Mourinho in a heartbeat?
I think they're shitting themselves because this means like the highest they can probably hope to aim for is 6th.
Fuck me, that's such a sentence.
I think that's probably what it is, because if you look at your percentage of Tottenham right now, you said their top 4 is 20% or whatever.
Yeah.
So that basically makes them favourites for 5th place-ish.
Exactly.
So the top 4 is basically going to stay as it is. Tottenham are going to overtake Arsenal. Great. So now we need to hope that we don't get embarrassed by Wolves, Sheffield United, Burnley, or United, who've also been fucking dog shit, and somehow finish 6th.
Yep. Yeah, that's right. And they're dead even with Wolves in terms of probability of making a Champions League spot.
Yeah, exactly, because Wolves, they're on 19 points, but they had such a poor start to the season and now they're undefeated in 5. And you look at Arsenal, who have got 3 points from the last 5 games, and those 3 points have come against Southampton, Wolves, and Palace. Like, then they've lost to Sheffield United and they've lost to Leicester. Now, granted, Leicester, they're doing wonders this season, but come on now. As much as we laugh and think Arsenal are a joke, they should be winning pretty much all of those games all the time.
Yep, and Arsenal are down to 13th on expected points.
Yeah. If they lose to Norwich this week, or don't get 3 points, or even concede a fucking goal, like, he should just be gone.
He should be gone already, and I don't think that's even like remotely a hot take. So I guess the real question is like, is there a point where they're actually going to fire him, or is he just safe till the end of the year now?
23 years.
Yeah, come on. We're always asking for managers to be given a chance. Come on, give him a chance. 23 years.
What does he need to do to get fired? I fucking mean that as a question. Losing to Norwich, is that actually going to be enough? Or this is Southampton. And they got outplayed by Southampton at the fucking Emirates.
Yeah, credit again to Southampton. Like we've mentioned, they've been showing fight recently, and they've shown fight again. It's weird that at the minute Hassan Hutel isn't one of the ones in the managerial firing discussions so much. It kind of centres around Pellegrini, Marco Silva, Unai Emery, and I mean obviously Quique Sanchez Flores.
Obviously.
And I think that's something to do with just the way they're playing, and they're actually still showing the unity and getting on board. And they were so unlucky not to win that game, like so unlucky. And it was just a couple of moments that meant that they didn't get the 3 points. Be that attacking or obviously switching off a tiny bit towards the end for Lacazette's equaliser.
Yeah, I agree completely. And speaking of unlucky, let's move on to your beloved Crystal Palace.
Speaking of unlucky, but my God, what a bloody fun game.
Go on, football.
How are you feeling after that? Well, let me give the score first. Palace scoring 1 to Liverpool's 2.
Palace
1.3
I didn't realise.
1.3 to 1.5 on XG. So very, very harsh to lose that.
I mean, Palace Liverpool is just, even when we've been smashed by them, like it's pretty much always been such a good game. Obviously, we had the history for a while of getting good results. Like that's long gone. Last time we beat Liverpool, and in fact, the last time Liverpool were beaten at home was when Allardyce was manager of Palace. So
Bloody
we're going
hell.
a fair way back now.
My word.
That's the last time Liverpool lost at Anfield.
Jeez, okay.
Was against Sam Allardyce's Palace. When Benteke, when Sacco was on loan and did the handshake with Benteke, that was great fun.
Memory.
Anyway,
Alone in the moonlight.
different memories.
Okay, sorry.
But still memorable all the same.
Valid.
But it's just an absolute ding dong. I mean, I knew what the score was, and you guys had spoken to me a little bit about what had happened because I missed a game. I watched it on Match of the Day, and when the highlights finished, my heart was going a million miles an hour.
Yeah.
Like it was palpitating, and I think it was that excitement that. I mean, you guys were telling me how it was going, but then I looked at the team sheet and the substitutions made, and it was all like, all of that was categorically the same as it always is, except Benteke got brought on this time, which was good, and he looked very, very much more confident. I think he got a goal for Belgium in the international break, and obviously for the Palace goal, he made a really good run where he kind of beat two Liverpool players and kind of distributed the ball very well to play another two out of the game before Townsend laid it off to Zaha. And it was a very brief kind of positive after then, because obviously then Firmino gets to go ahead. But so much better. Like it was kind of what I was crying out for Palace to play like that way against Chelsea. Just
right.
Going for it and being coherent and just trying something, and that was what it was. Andros Townsend in his post match said it was kind of the best we played all season, and I think from all the games that I've seen, I'd agree with that. And can feel very, very bad. I mean, obviously there's the disallowed goal and Mane getting a good goal as he's on fire for Liverpool, and they're still just getting the results when they're not playing, when they aren't necessarily playing that well, which does make me wonder, like how long, like seriously, how long can that go on? Because it seems like that's been the narrative for about 5 or 6 weeks that Liverpool haven't looked that great.
That's been the narrative since like fucking game week 2. Are you kidding? Like I've been on about that for fucking forever. The 1.5 to 1.3 and they scrape another win and it's another fucking last minute goal. And, it's a running joke that like, a Liverpool fan is born with "It's our year" tattooed on their face. Right? Like, but I feel like it actually fucking is. Like, this is their year, genuinely? Like, how many times can they get a lucky break like that shit?
And I think they've got... I think it's something like 8 goals in 8 different games. Sorry, they've scored after the 85th minute this season, or something.
They're the new Man United when it comes to this scoring in the last sort of 10 minutes or stoppage time or whatever. Without a doubt, they're the new Man United. I mean, and that's, you know, Man United back in the day got an incredible amount of their points from those last minute goals, obviously. So if they can continue doing that, you know, I genuinely think it might be a done deal with Liverpool.
I do too.
I think it's done.
Either of you guys care to guess as to how many points they've overperformed the expectation by?
I know.
I'll give you some context. The next most, they're the most, obviously. The next most are Leicester by 8. So Leicester have put up 20.7 and they're on 29.
Okay, so because of the way Liverpool have played, I will say Liverpool probably about 15 ahead, 15 points.
Jesus Christ, 15 is insane.
I don't know
it's
numbers.
not 15.
12, 4, 6, 1 point.
He's panicking.
All right, so I'll chuck. Ian, do you want to give it a guess here?
What's the point? He's had all the guesses.
Yeah. Okay. The third most overperformed is Newcastle at 5.5 overperformed. The second, as I just mentioned, is Leicester at 8.3 overperformed. And Liverpool are 11.2 overperforming the expectation.
Wow.
That's how fucking lucky they've been.
That's what I mean. But last year, it was after the last time Palace played Liverpool, and it was the 4-3, which went right to the end. It was a very, very exciting game. And it's kind of after that was when you saw a bit of Liverpool's weakness. So I don't know if I'm putting some sort of voodoo out into the world and my team are going to influence them again and destroy them, because after that is when they then let the 7-point lead go, I believe, last season. Someone check it. I don't know. None of you fact check me anyway.
Say what you like, mate.
So Liverpool are going to let it slip now, and Man City are going to win the league.
Okay.
Oh, that would make me so happy.
All because of Palace.
That would make me so fucking happy.
The Kingmakers.
I really hope so. Both in terms of like they're the new Burnley that just unreasonably overperform their numbers, and in terms of the delight of having to watch Liverpool choke one more time. That'd be great.
I don't think it's happening.
No,
Sorry.
it's not. It's so unlikely at this point. Yeah. And I guess we'll wrap up very briefly on United Sheffield. 3-3 United
It's
generating
Sheffield
1.3
United.
to 1.6.
It's called Sheffield United, Oscar.
It's a 2-club city. They'll get very upset.
Yeah.
Okay.
He doesn't think we're being serious, Chuck, but we are. They'll get very upset.
Yeah, you definitely are. I can tell. I can hear Dave screaming at his headphones right now. So we had Sheffield versus Manchester. Sheffield scoring 3, Manchester scoring 3, 1.6 to 1.3 on XG. So both of them wildly overperforming. That was a hell of a match. What was it, 7 goals in the last 5 minutes, right?
Yeah, 7 goals in a 6-goal game. No, it was... I think it was 2-0 Sheffield United in the 72nd minute, I think.
Yeah,
So
72nd or 74th, something like that.
4 goals in 18 minutes, stoppage time equaliser for Sheffield United. And I think Chris Wilder will be pissed off about that, massively pissed off. Letting that slip. They were at home, Sheffield United were at home as well. But a lot of kind of unknown names coming through for Manchester United in terms of like the, just looking on FPL. Kind of thing. Some bloke called Brandon Williams.
Yeah, that notification came through because I hadn't got home yet, and the notification came through and it was like, Brandon Williams. I was like, who the fuck is Brandon Williams?
Did you just automatically assume, that's a Sheffield United own goal? Must be.
Exactly, yeah, that's why I've never heard of him. Yeah.
Also, relatively unknown, I think it's Marcus Rashford?
Never heard of him.
Rashford?
Never heard of him.
Getting a goal and an assist in this one.
Some
I'm
bloke.
feeling mildly vindicated, both because I spent weeks saying once Rashford and Martial would be healthy, they'd start scoring some goals, and they have been scoring goals since they came back. And also, I took a points hit, at 7:45 Saturday morning, 10 minutes after the Tottenham match had started, and I was like, okay, getting in Son and getting in Rashford as quickly as possible, and they both went on to score. So, I'm feeling pretty good about that. Hopefully, I'm going to catch some price rises.
Wow.
I don't know.
Aggressive points hits from you.
Yeah, I didn't take a points at last week, so it was itchy.
I was worried. I was worried because I looked at your score and that was actually your score.
He didn't have to -4 or 8 or 12.
Yeah. I mean, I was still beating you, but obs.
Yeah, see, I didn't do a points hit, and now I'm having a bad week. That's how it goes, man. The more of a points hit I get, the better of a week I have.
Right.
Well.
I mean, I was above you before that.
Yes.
And beating you as well. Whatever. Anyway, talking about how I'm the greatest of everyone. Beating Oscar. So, yeah. Pretty sure. Just roll the tape back and just check. Press pause. Welcome back. Yes, you have found out that I am the greatest.
Yeah,
we move on to FPL. Our team, again, I mean, our podcast team is just too good.
I know. You're going to take over soon, aren't you, Chuck?
What do you mean? No, it's my team. It's my team.
Oh, it just is your team, right? Okay.
Yeah. Well, what I might do is just wait till game week 37 and then change the names over and be like, oh, we took a 400 points hit and now we're down. But no, 75 points all out for the podcast.
No, it's
team.
not all out because we should. Well, actually, is it all out for us? Yeah. Sorry.
Yes.
What I meant by that is we should say we are recording before Aston Villa Newcastle, which I'm sure will have massive implications in the fantasy football world.
Yeah, but not on our team score because we don't own any players from those teams.
That was the mistake I made.
Jesus Christ. Oscar, and we're losing to that guy.
I know.
No. Oh, right.
Hard
Okay,
to
fuck off.
He doesn't even understand how the game. I wanted to get a Newcastle player in, but the people, the listener men, the listener and the ear women, they didn't want to vote for it. So
They didn't.
I think he's just confused. Ian, this is a podcast. You are at home. Your name is Ian Stimpson.
He hasn't taken his pill this morning, let's face it, Oscar.
I took a pill. And that's why my laptop is rising like this.
Yeah, I was going to say, was it blue? Yeah. 75 points off the back of 280 plus weeks.
I've still got Targett left to play, so I'm not all out.
Oh, we're not talking about your team.
What, not my team?
No.
Yeah, okay.
No.
Doing well. Another green arrow.
Yeah, all right, fine. So the podcast team is just outside the top 100,000 now. We're doing very, very well. So we want to keep that going. And obviously, we're coming up to game week 14 and got our suggestions. So, gentlemen, what are we going for? What is our proposed transfer? We only have one freebie and we have 0.6 million in the bank.
Well, run it back. Just copy-paste from last week. I said Mason Mount is in for some rotation, potentially, now that Conte's back healthy. He did get rotated out. I do think that's going to be probably a regular thing. He'll be in and out. I don't think he's not going to see minutes, but he's not an assured starter. And so Mount for Pulisic, just like last week.
Okay. It's a good job then that we aren't 0.1 million short to do that.
Fucking hell.
Haven't checked the bank balance, have you?
Haven't checked the bank balance. Looking for his transfer. Didn't check the game though. What an idiot. And there is absolutely no chance whatsoever that me and Ian had a 10-minute conversation laughing about how funny that was before we started recording.
We knew you were going to choose that.
We knew you were going to choose it. And
I don't know how much money we have.
Well, it's all there. It's plain to see.
No, it's a nightmare, isn't it? You got to click on that transfer page and then just have a quick look. What a nightmare!
You know what would help, Ian? It would really help if all the players just had the values next to their names.
It would.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Do you guys have the login to the pod team? Because I fucking don't.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's why I'm always like, how much money do we have? I don't know who we have on a discount.
Right.
For God's sake.
Did you give it to me? Did I just lose that information?
Yes, we probably did.
Well, at least now you know why I never have the right transfer suggestion.
Right, okay, so Oscar, you're going to have to look and come up with a new one because, Mount Pulisic is no longer a goer.
No good. Not going to say that is because Mount has dropped 0.2 since you originally suggested it.
Yeah, we could have done it.
Mount to Pulisic. Could have done it last week, mate. Could have done it. You should have campaigned for it harder.
I did. Oh, I'm so mad right now.
No, Chuck's been out kissing babies. He's been, that's separate. But, he's been on the campaign trail. Big time for his move.
I'm saying roll the transfer. I don't even want to play anymore. Where are my pram? Where are my toys? Where's my pram?
No, you've got to suggest something.
No, don't cop
You've got time. Me and Chuck will talk about ours.
Time.
No, actually, I'm going to say roll the transfer because my goal is just to get Pulisic in, and no one will ever agree to points hit. So if I roll the transfer, then next week I can do 2, and we can actually get him.
Oh, fine. Well, what we'll do is we'll get on, I don't know, we'll ask a Patreon to come up with an idea then. There we go. And we'll do it using our brand new Slack channel that we've just started.
Hello.
Plug. Patrons, you get access to the Slack. So for those of you that haven't seen on Twitter, please check your emails and join, because at the minute it's just like 4 of us just shouting into the void at each other.
So all of our Patreons?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, all of them.
Yeah.
We're having a lovely old time over there.
We're having a great time. There's food chat. There's FPL chat.
Yep.
There's sock chat.
Yep.
Sam Danby's loving that.
Oh, he's the main one in there.
Yeah, absolutely. And so what we'll do is we'll put something in there, and you guys can suggest, and we'll come up with one option.
Yeah.
For
Actually, that might be a cool thing to do every week. You would do a poll that has 4 options.
Maybe, but you're not going to fucking cop out every week.
No, all right. I'm going to say Madison to Pulisic. No one's going to vote for that, but whatever. Oh, we can't do that anyway. For fuck's sake.
Yes, we can.
No, we can't. We've got 3
we have 3
players.
Chelsea players already.
Oh, yeah.
That's why it has to be a points hit.
So anyway, let me just complete the plug and say patreon.com/milesoffsidepod, and there you can sign up for $5 a month, and you'll help us out. There's FPL mini pods from me, the currently top player in the podcast.
Apart from me and my other team.
Targett still to play, don't forget that. And you've got Oscar's restarted the Nerdy Nerd Stand, Nerdy News Stand,
That's right.
Newsy Nerd Stand.
Newsy Stand Nerds.
And all that stuff. So there's extra content, and the Slack channel now that Chuck has been good enough to start, because I don't know how technology works. So
yeah, I spent about an hour trying to figure it out, and you weren't much help.
Well, 45 minutes of that was trying to get me sorted on it.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, what's an email?
Exactly.
Okay, so Oscar is saying roll the transfer. Ian
No, I have one now. I actually did some clicking.
Oh,
I'll
for
give
God's
Oh,
sake.
right.
Sorry. It
This
took
is
me a
exactly what we
second.
said to do, but he got all pissy, didn't he, and thrown his toys out
well,
the pram.
all right, fine.
He's
I'm going to
so-
say
You know,
Mount.
he's going to take my odds now, isn't he? Ian?
Oh, I hope so.
Maybe. I'm going to go Mount to Snodgrass.
Oh, no.
Oh, no, absolutely not.
Okay, well,
You're insane.
we can afford that. Snodgrass, who hadn't played until 4 weeks ago, he's back. He's got 9, 2, and 4, a goal, and an assist in 4 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, I suggested him 3 weeks ago and you laughed at me.
There you go. Well, I'm suggesting him now, and I'm not laughing at me. So
God, he's so pissy. He's so anti-democracy.
Yeah, I know, right? God. Ian, what's your suggestion, buddy, as the winning person out of us?
Mine is so anti-glamour, I know it's not going to win, but Diop is stinking up our back line. He's also
mama. Yup,
Up
bit
to
mama.
mama.
wait, we have
He-
Diop? Oh fuck! I'm looking at my team.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh,
Honestly, it's like talking to me.
and you have a go at him for not knowing technology and being old. It's you, man.
Right, have a look and see if you want to change it, and I'll
No,
go
I'm good.
through.
I'm good. Mount to
No, it's
Snodgrass.
locked in now. That's it.
Yeah,
it is
lock it in.
decided.
Right, mine is really boring, but Diop's got to go. He's suspended as well, so time to go. Diop to Baldock, Sheffield United. I just want all in on their players.
Yeah, all their players that we probably won't play.
Yeah, but you got to have someone on the bench playing. It's coming into this is a FPL cliche, coming into that busy festive period when we always worry about way more rotation than actually happens.
Fixture congestion.
We need a strong bench. I mean, yeah, do we bollocks? But that's what I'm saying. I don't like Diop, so he's got to go.
Ah, it's a Diop. Is a no good. Well then, so if that's your one, I'm gonna put forward mine, which Oscar might like a bit because it does go some way to facilitating his inevitable suggestion of getting Pulisic in.
Okay.
So I would also drop Mason Mount. I think just with the rotation and, like you said, he's not been in the best of form. And also our team is quite, as the FPL community say, template, as it were.
And you don't like that?
No, and we've got like 4 of the 5 highest percentage owned midfielders. We've got the 2 highest percentage owned forwards, but I think the third is like 5th, 6th highest owned. We've got 3 of the 5 highest owned defenders. So I think we can afford to take a little bit of a risk and a bit of a punt.
Snodgrass.
So it's not Snodgrass, no. I am going to go, because he's looked bloody great recently and fixtures are green as fuck, I'm going to go for my boy Wilf Zaha. Going to get him in. We get a 0.1 back because he's 6.6, and Mount we've got at 6.7. Fixtures coming up: Burnley, Bournemouth, Watford, Brighton, Newcastle, West Ham, Southampton, Norwich, Arsenal.
Oh, yes. That blue pill's kicking in.
That is 27 points, baby. Genuinely, though, if we don't get 15 points, I'm probably going to kill myself out of those fixtures. And so I want some Zaha. Let's get him in. Let's ride some Palace gravy train, baby.
How much is Milivojevic? Can I change my answer?
He is 6.7.
Can we afford
the
that?
exact same we have Mount. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to change my answer to Milivojevic then. That is a great run of fixtures.
No, let him do that because I quite like Milivojevic. So.
Fine.
Yeah, let him do that.
Basically stealing my answer.
Yes.
Changing his answer. God, you flip-flopper, you. So that's it then. So
we'll stick that out.
Yep, Mount out for Milivojevic or Zaha, or Issa Diop out for Baldock. I mean, no one's going to vote for that,
no one's going to vote for that, but, no. I thought I'd give someone else a chance.
And Patreons, you will be... Well, I mean, by this time, you would have already selected it, I guess.
Yeah, probably.
I don't know. Time is really confusing.
It's tricky, isn't it? You've always struggled with this, mate. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, because, we release in the future...
To us.
Yeah. But this is the...
Yeah, but you don't usually put out the poll until, Friday night. So, I think we'll be all right.
Thursday afternoon, thank you very much.
Yeah, but, whatever.
Yeah.
So, and speaking of that, so basically, if you want to vote on these polls, then we are Miles Offside Pod on Twitter. We don't put it on Facebook, but we're on there. We're on Instagram as well. Obviously, we don't put polls on there, but I put sometimes a little funny video if I can be bothered to cut one.
Come on, you love cutting those little videos.
Yeah, come on. Your little eyes light up every time.
Oh, I love cutting the little videos. It's just whether I get time to do them because you guys are just so cuttable.
Thanks.
No worries.
Well, and with that, let's look at next week's fixtures. Beginning on... Wait, am I on the right week? Yes, I am. Game week 14. We are beginning on Saturday, 30th of November. The early fixture is Newcastle at home to Man City. And then, as I stated at length before, we start that Palace Beautiful Green run playing against Burnley. Chelsea have got West Ham, so... Maybe we shouldn't actually drop Mason Mount. Oh well. Liverpool have got Brighton, Spurs, Bournemouth. Then 5:30 Saturday, go out, do something.
Do something.
I'm not watching
move
this.
on.
See the family.
It's Southampton, Watford. I mean, again, Southampton fans, you've got Watford, then Norwich. Jesus
Take
Christ.
your fucking chance.
And both of those games are on TV.
Jeez.
Then Sunday, 1st of December. Countdown to Christmas, baby. Norwich host Arsenal. Norwich win. Then we've got Wolves, Sheffield United at the same time. Leicester, Everton, Man United, Aston Villa.
Let me interrupt, actually, because you just said countdown to Christmas and I've forgotten something. I've got us a new, for UK listeners, I've got us a new Amazon Prime link. And I was thinking, I was using the old noggin. If you use this link that I'm going to put in the show notes, so the link will be in the show notes, and you follow that and you can sign up to Amazon Prime for a free 30-day trial, right? You can get all of your Christmas presents delivered for free. You can blitz it, bash through that. Free 1-day delivery, and I'm
picking up what you're putting down now, Ian. I'm there. I'm there with you.
You're with me. And you can get the... in early December, there are a load of fixtures that are on Prime Video. That is all included, so you can get them and the Boxing Day fixtures as well, where I think they've got 9 fixtures or something. So if you do that now, that 30-day trial will carry you for up to the Boxing Day fixtures as well, and you can get all your Christmas presents delivered free.
I mean it won't, because numbers.
November 24th.
Oh wait,
yes,
no,
but when will this go out, dickheads?
Oh God! Oh god!
Fuck me! How hard is it? This goes out in a
really
couple of
hard.
days.
It's time. It's time. It's like forward and backwards and Nikola Tesla and time travel and Terminator.
Wait, are we in the bit that's getting cut, or are we in the bit that's still recording? Because I lost track.
This is exactly it. Like, it's so confusing.
I don't know where we are.
But yes, Ian is right that you should sign up to Amazon Prime. Now I'm going to seamlessly link it in so it can't be cut out. And yeah, so if it's wait until the 27th.
Oh, for God's sake. By the time this comes out, you can follow the Amazon Prime link. Everyone do that. Give us money. How hard is it?
Unless you're a Patreon, because you get it a day early.
Wait, how are your fixtures on Amazon? I thought fucking Sky owned them.
Oscar doesn't eat. Don't worry about it.
Prime Video doesn't have live stuff, or does it? I
Yes,
guess it has
it
live
does.
stuff
Yes,
over
it
there.
does. It has sport all the time. It has tennis very often.
Not over here that I know of.
Well, then you don't get to listen to it.
Because all our sports rights are on like TV.
Yeah, but you actually get to watch games. We don't.
Yeah, you got to remember this.
We normally have to pay 70 quid a month.
We sell them off to numerous different people who spend money, and then we have to have about 18 different subscriptions to watch these matches.
You have to buy VHSs in the mail, and they send you a 4 VHS part.
Is that not how everyone does it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, by like monthly.
Exactly.
A subscription-based magazine. It starts off 99p and then it's $7.99.
Exactly. But that's not how Amazon Prime works. It's exactly how it works.
So sign up to that on the 27th of November or later, but not later than Tuesday the 3rd of December. And then you will also get 20 games of football for free.
Yeah. If you use the link in the show notes. Have we said that enough times?
Show notes, Amazon, time travel, watch video, subscription, Patreon. Done. Were there any notable fixtures you wanted to talk about for next week?
You said countdown to Christmas and it just reminded me.
Oh, speaking of, have you been listening to Kelly Clarkson yet? I know that's like your go-to.
For God's sakes.
No, I haven't listened to it once yet. I tried. I was doing the grams, the music and sound effects on one of the shows I work on, and they were trying to get a Leona Lewis and song like on the show for like Christmas, and I was like, no, the best modern Christmas song is Kelly Clarkson. Didn't fly, so I haven't heard it yet.
Well, I was listening to it on the way home the other day, and I thought of your bright little face singing it on the pod this time last year.
Love that tune. But I won't seek it out. I need it presented to me.
Do you want me to play it right now?
No. Needs to be organic.
Fair enough. I may or may not have mentioned this on the podcast, but I was that way for years and years with figs. Have I mentioned this before?
Nope.
What?
So you guys know figs, like the fruit?
The fruit.
I guess it's a fruit. The food. Yeah. I was in like high school, I guess, or something, and I read that the ancient Greeks considered it so good that surely it was not meant for humanity, but only for the gods.
Brilliant.
And I had never had a fig to that point. They're much more common over there, I think, than they are here. Because they don't grow around here. They're pretty expensive.
Okay.
So they're not just like out and about and ready and available, unlike you guys have like your figgy pudding and whatnot.
Of course we do.
Not really a thing,
Everyone
but
eats
yeah.
figgy
Is
pudding.
figgy pudding
Never had
have
it.
figs in it? I'm assuming it does from the name.
Yeah, but
Never had it, never seen it, never made it.
it's a super old, doesn't really happen.
Whatever.
But anyway,
So I had never had one to that point in my life, and I found out that like it's so good it must be for Greek gods only and not for humans. And I was like, okay, I'm never gonna eat a fig unless someone presents it to me on a platter and is like, "Me lord, we got you some figs," and does like a bow, and I'm like, yes, today is a good day for a fig. Thank you very much.
Right. Have you ever had a fig?
I did one time.
Oh, fuck's sake.
One time. We were at a very fancy place, and it was like they were walking around with them on like a passed plate, like a passed hors d'oeuvres thing that had figs in it, and I was like, it's finally happening.
Immediately went into the toilet, changed into a toga.
Hold on, Ian, because we know what he's like with identifying
No,
foods.
they said it was figs.
Are you
They told
sure
me
it was a fig?
It could be anything.
It wasn't a banana or a mini quiche.
It wasn't a pomegranate either.
Right, okay.
Yeah, it was a fig. They're pretty good.
Right.
Just a little tartlet. Anything. Could have been anything.
Yeah. Anyway, figs. Speaking of figs, what fixtures stand out to you next week? For fuck's sake, can we just get through this?
That was really good. That was really good, Chuck. You should be very proud of that. Bravo,
You're welcome.
Sir. What's going to be the highest scoring fixture? Is it going to be City against Newcastle, us against West Ham, or Liverpool against Brighton? Those are the three best attacks. So Liverpool and Chelsea are at home, so there's that added advantage, but City are
It's
playing
Spurs-Bournemouth,
Newcastle.
man. Spurs-Bournemouth's the highest scoring game. Spurs can't defend. Bournemouth can't defend. Spurs are all like happy and scoring goals.
Yeah, I misspoke. I meant the biggest win. Like, what's the single team that's going to score the most goals?
Biggest dicking.
Yes, that one.
Okay. Well, Leicester.
Oh, Leicester Everton. Yeah, that's not a bad shout, is it, actually?
Yeah, baby.
God. Everton have got some shitty fixtures coming up as well. I mean, they really... this should have been... They were in sort of 6th or 7th and about to dip, and instead they're wherever the fuck they are and about to dip into relegation because their fixtures are shocking.
Give us a sound out. What are they? What are we saying?
Hang on, let me find them very quickly.
Can someone answer my fucking question? How many times do I have to rephrase it? Of the 3 best attacks, which one of those 3, and not allowed to answer any of the other fixtures, is going to have the biggest dicking? Is City going to score 2 more on Newcastle, us on West Ham, or Liverpool on Brighton?
For fuck's sake, you just want us to say Chelsea, so it's
No,
Chelsea.
I'm genuinely curious who you guys think.
It's Chelsea. West Ham can't defend for toss.
Yeah, but Newcastle, man. City against Newcastle. Doesn't Aguero score 5 against Newcastle like every time?
Yeah, but he's injured, isn't it?
Everton's fixtures are Leicester, Liverpool, Chelsea, Man United, Arsenal.
Oh,
wow, and at least 2 of those are hard.
Well, yeah, but come on.
Yeah,
still.
I mean, they'll lose all of them. And then they've got Burnley, and then they're away at Newcastle, and then they're away at Man City.
Woof.
I'm going to say Silva sacked after game week 16.
Oh, for Christmas.
After Chelsea. Frank Lampard's getting fired.
Should we call it a day?
Yeah, all right then. Thank you very much for listening. Christmas is coming. Amazon, time travel, football, Jose Mourinho. There's probably some other good bits in there. Maybe we'll just make another Greatest Hits episode out of that.
Yeah. If you made it this far, tweet us the word fig.
Yeah.
No tweets.
Yeah, please use it in a pun
Yes.
or a figure of speech.
Oh, Chuck.
On that
You're
note,
spoiling
thank
us.
you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for listening. Gentlemen, say goodbye.
I think it's going to be Liverpool of the 3.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.